Our cardiovascular system has arteries, veins, and lymphatic vessels. Arteries are pipes that drive blood from the main pump, your heart, into different tissues, and veins collect blood and push it back from tissues to your heart. Hi there, Dr. Borja Bandera here. Today, in this video, you are going to understand what is hypertension and how it shows up. If you are new to this channel and want medical advice in plain English from a Spanish doc, stick with me. Let's begin! Essentially, arterial pressure is the result of the interaction between three factors. Cardiac output is the amount of blood the heart propels every time it contracts. Blood volume and viscosity. Peripheral resistance, which is the friction blood and arterial vessels generate against the heart. On top of that, there are several blood pressure control mechanisms. Neurogenic mechanisms like the autonomic nervous system or different baroreflexes. Hormonal mechanisms like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and other hormones. Endothelial mechanisms controlled by nitric oxide or endothelin are renal mechanisms, which control fluid volume and sodium retention. Dr. Bandera, why is it so important to have good blood pressure levels? Maintenance of good blood pressure levels is pivotal to the organism, as it guarantees the adequate tissue perfusion in every situation. Without blood, tissues do not have oxygen. Without oxygen, cells cannot breathe. Without breathing, cells die. If you have ever checked your blood pressure, you will have found two ciphers. The first one is called systolic blood pressure and reflects blood pressure when your heart contracts, a process called systole. The second one reflects blood pressure when your heart relaxes and is called diastolic blood pressure. If the first number is over 140 mercury millimeters and the second one is over 80 mercury millimeters, and this is repeated over time, you have high blood pressure levels. Doctor, is it dangerous if my blood pressure is too high? The importance of blood pressure decrease in hypertension is not only to assure the adequate physiological status, but also to preserve the cardiovascular structure. The heart adjusts the cardiac output according to the metabolic demand. Facing high blood pressure levels, the first attempt is to increase cardiac output in order to accommodate this hemodynamic overload. The heart says, if there is too much resistance out there, I just need to work harder. But this has consequences. This increase in heart effort works only in the acute phase, and not when the stimulus persists. Therefore, the continuous hemodynamic overload triggers pathological hypertrophic and remodeling responses of the vascular, which contributes to increased vascular resistance and cardiac tissues. Well, the heart just becomes muscular as Ronnie Coleman. This could seem good news, and these responses at first tend to normalize cardiac performance. However, the complexity and progressiveness of cardiac hypertrophy classify this adaptation as a risk factor. At long-term, pathological left ventricular hypertrophy compromises cardiac function and even life. And don't forget, hypertension is one pivotal risk factor in the onset of heart attack and stroke, two of the most frequent causes of death worldwide. How do I treat hypertension? Is anything I can do to improve it? High blood pressure is tightly related to lifestyle. Being obese or overweight are clear risk factors for hypertension, as it is high chronic stress levels, high salt intake, smoking or heavy drinking. So, as you can imagine, lifestyle changes are crucial to stop hypertension. You should immediately stop smoking, stop drinking, involving in regular daily exercise, both aerobic and anaerobic, avoid ultra-processed food, which usually contains huge amounts of salt and other unhealthy compounds, and take your pills, as prescribed by your doctor. But don't uniquely rely on pills, as lifestyle changes are more important. That's all for today, folks. If you want a second part talking about exercise and hypertension, we need just 200 likes. See you in next video, stay healthy and in the know.